Well, good afternoon everyone. Welcome back to the Leadenhall building here in the City of London. Incredible building here for an incredible fight, incredible moment for the sport of boxing. April 30th, the big one, the undisputed lightweight world championship between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, live on DAZN from Madison Square Garden in America. Of course, we all felt and hoped that this event would be a game changer. This event would be iconic, historic, and break the records. And last week, of course, for the pre-sale, we recorded the second biggest pre-sale in the history of boxing in 140 years at Madison Square Garden. Of course, this is the biggest female fight of all time, but it's also one of the biggest fights in boxing. April 30th, the world will stop to watch these two great fighters change the sport and take women's boxing to a new level. Of course, we have a number of guests up with us today. Of course, Joseph Markowski from DAZN, the undisputed world lightweight champion Katie Taylor, my co-promoter and friend, the great Jake Paul, Amanda Serrano, the seven division world champion, Nikita as well from Most Valuable Promotions, been a huge part of this promotion. We'll hear from everybody. Before we do, Joe, over to you. It's a big one for DAZN. You guys have continued to back women's boxing, and now we have a real iconic moment on April 30th.
Yeah, I think a fight that transcends not only women's boxing, but has the potential, if we all get this right, to transcend the sport of boxing. The energy in New York last week, the ticket sales that you've mentioned, the turnout from the media today, the reaction on social media, Jake's involvement. There's so many ingredients to this that give it the potential to really cut through. And as you know, when you have an opportunity with a boxing event to cut through into mainstream sport, you want to give it your best shot, and we're determined to do that. We've got a couple of months to do that. We've got a fantastic group of people pushing it, and we're really excited about the opportunity we've got to really celebrate women's sport and go beyond the four walls of boxing.
As a broadcaster, I know it's been something of many platforms to support women's sport, but this fight feels different to that. We live in a subscription age and a numbers age. We've seen already, not just from ticket sales, but social and media interaction as well. This is a big fight.
I think you and I have been together last week or so in the States, and you're being stopped on the street to be talked about this fight far more than you usually would be for a women's boxing event. So I think you're already seeing that it's cutting through. We're confident when we look at our numbers, and the numbers on social media, we look at the numbers on the content we're already putting out. We've got a fantastic opportunity, as I say, to grow our subscription audience and drive a massive audience on DAZN in many countries of the world, notably here in the UK and Ireland, and over in the States. So yeah, huge opportunity, one that we're really excited about.
Well, thank you for your support, Nikita. Welcome to London. A great turnout in New York last week. You've been a big driving force. I have to give yourself and Sean Palmer from Matchroom props for getting this deal papered and done, and all those long conversations before me and Jake just turned up to take all the credit. But it's been great working with you guys. Partnerships going well, all pulling in the same direction to make this event as big as we can.
Absolutely. Look, this all started because of you and Joe when Jake made his debut on DAZN just 2 years ago. And to think we're here now with the biggest fight in women's history, the biggest fight in boxing this year, is of course a credit to Matchroom, to Eddie Hearn, to DAZN, to Katie and Amanda, but also to my partner, Jake Paul, who in a little over 2 years has shaken combat sports upside down and is now sitting here next to you as co-promoter at age 25. So there's a guy on Boxer, I don't know his name, who claims to be the youngest promoter in the UK. The youngest promoter in the UK is sitting on this stage right now, and his name is Promoter Paul.
Obviously you two have been big disruptors to the game as well, but do you two feel like you're a little deadly duo out there to, as Jake says on his hat, make boxing great again at first, and I guess not always completely accepted by the boxing community, but both have a passion for the sport, and is this event showing that passion? It's not just about Jake going in there and making money, you actually do genuinely care about the sport of boxing.
Jake and I have been very fortunate in our careers today, mine a lot longer than his, given I'm a lot older. We don't need to be doing this, we want to be doing this. It's a privilege, it's an honor, and it's something that's disrupting sports as a whole, led by Jake, Katie, and Amanda.
Jake, welcome. People asked me leading into this promotion how I thought you'd be in this promotion. I see a more serious side of you, no messing around, no clowning around. Of course you're out here to push the show, but this event and obviously Amanda's career, this fight, something you feel very passionate about.
It's very serious, and I'm just excited for April 30th, first and foremost. People better get their tickets at msg.com because otherwise you're going to be sitting in the nosebleeds the way these tickets are selling. But this is what these ladies are doing. I want to, give them a round of applause because they're doing what most people in boxing aren't doing. The pound for pound two best going at it. This is what boxing needs more of, whether it's male or female. So they're putting it all on the line for this fight, which is what makes this so big. One of the reasons it makes it so big. So this is unprecedented, and more boxers across the whole sport should take notes from these two ladies. Make the big fights happen if you're one of the pound for pound best, and tell your promoters you want the fights. That's what these ladies did, and that's why we're here.
Obviously, for you, you have been a disruptor. The same question that I asked Nikita, are you looking to be respected by the sport, not just as a fighter, but someone that's genuinely putting something back?
Yeah, I mean, to me it doesn't matter, because I'm passionate about it. If people want to show respect, then cool. If not, then cool. I'm still going to be here doing my thing, but like the hat says, all I want to do is, bring more to this sport than I took from it, and that's what I'm trying to do.
And finally, we used to have a joke on the podcast downstairs. I'm sure we'll have a friendly bet nearer the time, but now you're actually a boxer. You're talking about the tactics for this fight. You're talking about watching Katie's fight against Bassoon and how Amanda's going to attack the body as well, but passionately supporting your charge, and you believe that on April 30th, Amanda Serrano will become the undisputed lightweight world champion.
I do indeed. Stylistically, and all credit to Katie Taylor. I respect her, and she has an amazing career and is an amazing person. But stylistically, I think the way Amanda comes forward with her body shots, we saw Katie have a little bit of trouble with that against Bassoon. And Bassoon was headhunting, not necessarily going to the body. And that's what Amanda brings. Power puncher, coming forward, unlimited cardio. So that's why I'm excited for this. Obviously it's going to be a great fight, but I believe in Amanda.
Well, thank you for your support. We look forward to filling up Madison Square Garden April 30th on the zone. Amanda Serrano, the 7th Division world champion again, talking downstairs. You talked about your hustle in the sport of boxing, the depths that you had to go to stay present in the sport. You talk about fighting for nothing, $1,000 a time, defending your world championship. I think you said $4,000 or something like that. You finally made it. Not just in the first, but the moment at Madison Square Garden where you will challenge for the undisputed World Lightweight Championship.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank London for having me. It's a beautiful city. And yes, the struggle has been real, and I'm super happy and excited that I finally get to see a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel with this fight with Katie Taylor. We're making history, and that's what I want to do. I want to continue to open the doors for the new generation coming into the sport. I'm a woman for equality, and we all talked about equality on this table multiple times, and we're making history. We're making history at the Garden. We're the first women to headline. We're making the biggest payday, both of us. I think we should just continue and make this fight iconic, make change in this game, and if Katie Taylor's willing, I'm ready and able to make this an equal fight, 12 rounds, 3 minutes. I mean,
Let's go!
I say if we want to make change, I think we should maybe on the platform right now, the zone. We're making headlines, we're talking, we're getting interest, and this is all about equality, and we should make the change right now. So Katie, are you up for it?
12 3-minute rounds?
12 3-minute rounds, let's do like the men.
I don't really feel like that will make a huge difference. The event is already iconic the way it is. The fact that the pre-sales are the best, the second best in history says it all really. This fight's even more important than we realise. And boxes, this proves that boxing, that the perceptions have changed already. Boxing is boxing regardless, and the fight is already iconic the way it is.
No, and I understand that it is, but if you want to make a change for the future and get people to notice us and get these promoters to not talk badly about women, I think we need to take a stand.
I think we're making a stand the way we're actually fighting here in first place. The best find the best. This fight is going to be determined by the winner of this fight is going to be the best pound for pound female fighter in the world. So we are already making a stand, taking this fight.
And my question to you as well, Amanda, about how this fight's going to play out as well. Is aggression the key to this fight? I know you rate your boxing skills as well. Katie has fantastic skills, but you talk about your power, the nastiness in your style as well. Is that your plan, to go and stop Katie Taylor at Madison Square Garden?
My plan is to fight smart, to be smart this April 30th. I know I have all the tools to be Katie Taylor. I just have to go out there and be smart, and the victory will be mine.
Katie, I know these are the nights that you dream of as a fighter. You've achieved so much in the sport as well, but these are the ones that you get up for more than anything. Your last 2 fights, I know you haven't been too motivated, but that's business. You've had to take care of this, but this is one you can get your teeth into, and I know you can't wait for April 30th.
Yeah, this is a fight that I wanted from the get-go. Ever since I turned pro, I had my sights set on Serrano. So I'm not just so excited this fight is actually happening now. I do genuinely believe this is the best fight in boxing right now, the most exciting fight in sport, and the fact that it's a headline in Madison Square Garden, and the fact that the pre-sales were the second best in boxing history. This means that this fight is even more important than we actually realise. It proves that there is a strong appetite in the public for these big female fights. Not only are we breaking the ceiling of female versus, but we have actually changed perceptions in the sport, and if our careers have only achieved that, but in all the hard days in the gym will be absolutely worth it.
I know that there's a huge amount of respect between you both as well, but a little bit of back and forward over the years as well. You want to win this fight, you want to win it bad, I know for your legacy as well, but part of you wants to prove and that everybody believes that you are the pound for pound #1. This is the challenge of Amanda Serrano, and one you want to win so desperately.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I'm obviously expecting the toughest fight in my career and prepare for that. But I know that I won't be found short in grip. I know I won't be found short in heart. I know my mind can take me to places where that I have no right to go, because I've been there before, both in the gym and on my big nights, and the whole world has seen me doing it. I don't think anybody's ever asked the question, does Katie have what it takes to go to that place with the fights in the trenches? That question has been answered. I'm not sure if Amanda has answered that question, and I think her legacy will depend on the answer to that question, and I guess we'll find out April 30th.
Amanda, do you have what it takes to go to the trenches on April 30th required?
I have everything. There's no questioning my heart, my skills, my power, my chin. So there's nothing I don't think Katie Taylor has that can answer the questions that needs to be answered. I'm a Boricua, I have Latin blood, and I have all the heart in the world.
Well guys, we have a huge amount of media here today, and I'm sure not everyone will get access to the fighters. We'll do our best, but we're going to open to the floor for questions, if anyone wants to ask questions to any of the panel here at the top table. Yes, Gary.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask both promoters really, Jake Paul first of all, and also Eddie Hearn. Jake, for all the criticism you've received from boxing purists and the sport for getting into the sport, how important a role can you play in what you've now adopted to make women's boxing to the same level as men's boxing?
Look, I can help for sure, but it's all credit to the women, and especially the two that are sitting up here, creating this historic moment. They're the ones putting their lives on the line, risking it all. So it's really up to them, and I'm just here to help in any way that I can, and as a friend and someone who cares about Amanda Serrano.
And to Eddie, some of your rival promoters are saying that women's boxing can't be box office. What do you say to them?
Well, just look at the reception that this event has seen, look at the turnout today, look at the ticket sales at Madison Square Garden, look at the ratings, look at the interest from the zone and broadcasters. Sometimes Jake calls some of these promoters dinosaurs, and that is the case. And even just so you don't think that I'm speaking badly about competition, I put my dad in the same. Katie's made my dad a fan of women's boxing, if that's what you want to call it. But you just have to watch it, and when you've got a great fighter, you've got a great product, you just have to showcase it to the world, and that's what Katie Taylor has done, and Amanda Serrano as well. So I feel that the divide between women's boxing and men's boxing is changing. We've always said it's just boxing, and at the end of the day, if you're a draw, if you're entertaining, regardless of your sex, it's completely irrelevant. And what we're seeing now is great fights. Forget gender, just great fights. These are tremendous pound for pound greats. Yes, Dan.
Just a question for both fighters. The fight's been widely marketed as the pound for pound #1 and #2. Do you guys believe that your opposite number is the #2? And if not, who is?
Well, I mean, listen, I'm just happy to be in the top 3. I only had 9 amateur fights. The top 3 is Katie, 1, whatever, 2 Army Olympic gold medalists, Clarissa Shields, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. I only had 9 amateur fights. So I'm just super happy and proud to be in that top list. And then come April 30th, you'll see who's the true pound for pound woman.
Yeah, I think this fight is gonna tell us who the #1 female fighter in the world is. So that adds another edge to this kind of fight, and that's another reason why this fight is so historic as well. So #1 and 2 fight each other, and we're going to see who the best is.
Just a follow-up question for Jake. You said you wanted to leave boxing in a better position than how you found it. This is obviously a great step in that direction. What are the other boxes that you want to see?
There's so many, you know, the list is too long, but this is a step in the right direction. I think just fighter pay is another big thing, just across the board, both women and men, because boxers are the content creators. They're the ones getting in there and putting on the show. And so I think we should give them more money, you know. I've heard so many horror stories about fighters fighting for peanuts. So you know, that's first and foremost, but I have more game plans and things that I want to talk about and implement and put into action over the next year and over the next 5 years, but you got to start somewhere, so it's a slow process.
Just Jake using his platform alone at this stage of his career has never been done before. Look at any other fighter, whether it's MMA or boxing, who's pushing other fighters as actively as he is during the prime years of his own career. So I think that has to be recognized as something that he's going to leave a legacy in, but he's only getting started in doing that. And Amanda is a perfect example of that, but so is Montana Love, who was signed by Matchroom after Jake gave him exposure. Liam Paro, who Matchroom signed after Jake gave him exposure. So that, I think, is a big part of his legacy as well, is promoting other fighters.
This one for Amanda and Katie. You really never spent much time together before this whole media tour started. Do you dislike Katie, and Katie, do you dislike Amanda?
No, this is business. You know, we're in the same business, trying to be both. She's undisputed. I'm trying to be undisputed champion. Have nothing but the respect for Katie as a champion and what she's done in the sport. So no, this. I mean, right now I don't dislike her, but come April 30th when I'm in that ring, it's a whole different story. Then I can go back to liking her.
Likewise.
And Jake, I suppose, you've obviously had some great accomplishments in your short career in boxing. Where did the day you signed this deal rank in your career accomplishments?
Top 3 for sure, 100%. You know, and I was super excited to post about it because it's very historic, and I'll definitely remember signing Amanda Serrano forever, because what we've already accomplished is pretty surreal, and I'm excited to be a part of boxing history.
Question for Eddie and RJ. Is there an official rematch clause in the fight contract?
Only if the fight is big enough. I mean, I see this fight happening 1, 2, 3 times. Katie is the champion as well. No automatically triggered rematch clause, but certainly if the fight was big enough, we'd be doing it again. But rematch clauses only exist if the champion loses. That was.
Jake, you started your career against a YouTuber in Comedy Shorts game where you now sit at the biggest table, one of the biggest press conferences I've ever seen. For you, how surreal is it to now be sat here for a fight of this magnitude? And Eddie, obviously we spoke about the YouTube events, everyone asked you, to the point where it's brought Jake Paul to this table doing this kind of fight. How mad is that?
I think it just goes to show that if you want to accomplish something in life, if you really set your mind to it, You don't need to be constricted by what your peers have accomplished or what other people think is possible. And I think that's what I've done over the past 3 years is just prove everyone wrong and prove myself right and believe in myself and continue to get better every single day, whether it's in the gym or outside of the ring with what my missions and goals are. So I think it's pretty surreal. It doesn't make any sense, but this is the times we live in where social media is the most powerful tool, and everyone's on their phones, and that's only going to continue to increase. And how do you get access into those people? And that's content. And so it makes sense why we're here, but it's kind of crazy that we're here at the same time.
Yeah, for me, I think I dipped my toe in YouTube boxing, and that was it for me. But I don't see Jake really, honestly, I'm not just saying it because he has YouTube boxing anymore. If he continues to go on and fight real boxers, which I'm sure is going to be the case, then I put him in a different category. I love these guys getting involved in the fights because it just brings different eyeballs, different attention, different platforms to the fight. And there's so much bitterness in boxing, so much ego and so much competition that even when you're doing a co-promotion with another promoter, they almost don't want it to succeed because you're involved. It's sick, really. But like, Jake's fresh, and I'm fresh enough just where we genuinely want the best for the fighters and we genuinely want to work together to make this as big as possible. And on the night when Madison Square Garden is sold out and the world is watching, we'll be proud and we'll shake hands and we'll say, when's the next one? It doesn't have to be how it is, but there's too many people in boxing working against each other.
Jake, just from me, when did you realise you wanted to get involved in women's boxing and help push their right for higher purses and obviously equal pay? Was there a specific moment, obviously in your career and
I think after first having a deeper conversation with Amanda and her trainer Jordan, and Nikisa was there as well when we trained together in Los Angeles, and I heard all the stories about her, getting paid $1,000 or $2,000 for these massive fights, and I'm sitting here talking to one of the best boxers ever, period. Nothing doesn't have to do with gender, period. And it just didn't make any sense to me. And then, the relationship progressed, and Nikisa and I were creating Most Valuable Promotions, and Amanda, was wanting us to help her, and we wanted to help her, and so it just worked out perfectly. And just by being around her, this is such an important movement, and I see how passionate she is about it, and that rubs off onto me as well.
If I can add, from the moment we signed our deal for Jake's last 2 fights with Showtime, the first call that we had with Steven Espinoza around the fight card, Jake and I quickly identified that it was important to bring exposure to women's boxing. That was the first time Jake had co-control of his fight card. And at that point, we discussed with Steven Amanda Serrano being the person to target. And that's how she made her debut on Jake's first event with Showtime and Most Valuable Promotions.
Yeah.
Question for Amanda. Welcome to the UK, and thank you to both of you ladies for what you're doing for women in boxing. Amanda, I know you said that this is business. Thank you. I know you said that this is business, but going back to when your sister suffered a defeat to Katie, does part of you feel like this is an opportunity now to get that revenge?
No, I won't ask me that question. I mean, me and my sister have a great relationship, and she says, don't worry, you got this. It's not like when I beat Katie Taylor, the loss is going to come off my sister's record, so this is against me and Katie Taylor right now. It's just, that's who this is for. It's for us. It's for our legacy, meaning us, meaning my team. So she's okay with it.
And finally, a question for Jake. What would you say to the naysayers, the ones that didn't believe the evolution in boxing? Because that's clearly what we're starting to see now.
Yeah, get used to me. I'm gonna be here for a while, and all I'm trying to do is make boxing great.
Yeah.
A question for Katie and Amanda. We've seen massive numbers, massive interest that has already circulated this fight. What needs to be done to ensure that women's boxing remains at this level of interest even beyond this fight?
I think one thing is that we need to see more and more big fights like this. I know that the likes of Clarissa Shields and Savannah Martin, those kind of fights as well. That's absolutely brilliant for the sport. They're exactly the kind of fights we need to see on a consistent basis. We need big nights like this, and we've definitely covered a lot of ground over the last few years in women's boxing. We've seen the support, we've seen even we're breaking the ceiling here in terms of female purses for this fight as well, but that needs to continue. And yeah, we just need more and more big nights like this.
What's it like to work with a broadcaster like so the eyeballs that brings on the fight as well?
Who's that to?
I'm sorry to kick in Amanda as well, sorry.
Sorry, what's
How
that?
much does it need to be working with a broadcaster like so and how much have they helped you bring extra eyeballs into this match?
Well, Katie's been lucky enough when she turned pro, she had Eddie Hearn, Natural Boxing Zone backing her up, and that's a major part of people knowing about female boxing and knowing about Katie Taylor. Like I told Eddie Hearn earlier today, I've been fighting for a couple of years more than Katie. And when Katie came on the scene, everybody's like, have you seen that girl? Have you seen Katie, the Irish girl, I was like, I go, hello, I've been here for years before her. But the Zone brought eyes to female boxing, and Eddie Hearn is continuing to put on great championship fights with females. And that's exactly what we need. Coming up into the sport, that's what I needed. I needed someone to push me, a promoter to put me on these platforms so we can be seen, and that's how it's happening now. And I'm super happy. Right now is the time to be a female boxer. We have great champions, and we have great women coming into the sport, and I'm super excited to see the future of female boxing.
I think from our perspective as well, it's worth noting that we're always going to throw the kitchen sink from a marketing and promotional perspective at any fight that we believe can cut through and get us into a broader, more mainstream audience. And I think not many fights in boxing give us that. We've got a great, very loyal base of hardcore boxing fans, but certain fights in the course of a year give us an opportunity to go wider, and this is definitely one of them. So I'm looking forward to working with many people in this room to do that over the next 2 months, and brands and celebrities around it. That's why Jake and Nikisa's involvement in particular is excellent around this as well.
Right guys, just a couple more, yeah.
Question for Amanda. You've got a loss and a draw in the record, both above the featherweight limit. Do you feel you've got to be strong enough to fight, to compete against the undisputed lightweight champion?
I mean, I believe so. If you saw my last fight, we have the same opponent, same outcome, different person after the fight. Yeah, it was so many years ago, my loss and my draw. I've learned a lot. I think I feel like I'm in my prime right now. I've learned in and out the ring. I'm just a complete fighter right now. And yes, I have the ability to, I'm a 7th division world champion. I have the ability to win titles in any division I put myself in.
Oh yeah, one more thing. Fighting in New York as opposed to fighting in the UK, do you feel that gives you a slight advantage?
Yeah, no, because I mean, I've seen Katie Taylor fight in the Garden, and she brings her Irish people. They follow her wherever she goes. So I don't think so. We're gonna have all neutral judges, so it's not gonna be like this favor on my side, because I've seen Katie Taylor get decisions in New York as well. So
Katie Taylor's the champ. It takes a lot to be a champ, no matter where she is.